Alright, so you guys might know this alpha male guru named Luke Belmar. I think that's how you pronounce it. Well, he just not just this a little over for like 5 months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, but he allegedly stole millions of dollars from his business partner and did scams. But I just find it funny that anybody actually believes these type of guys that just show up out of nowhere on the fucking internet with zero proof or anything of their income, and they're like, "I will teach you how to make millions of dollars a month," and then they just take thousands of dollars from them.
This alpha male mindset guru just got sued for allegedly stealing his own company. And this is quite the all-ball story, because if you've been scrolling through crypto TikTok or even YouTube at this point for the last few years, you might have seen Luke Belmar, the self-made millionaire who talks about mindset, purity, escaping the matrix, and building generational wealth. And of course, he's the guy who studied.
Tristan Tate pulled up a video, his favorite whiskey, Johnny Walker. What do I do at duty free? Johnny Walker.
So his big advice here: drink some Johnny Walker, and you'll become rich.
That night, sipping the Johnny Walker in the war room by myself with him, chilling. Why? I studied, bro. Oh, this guy's paying attention.
And well, according to his
So if you study from this clip, if you study, and you pay attention, you get to drink Johnny Walker.
his business partner, he cared more about sipping Johnny Walker with Tristan Tate than, taking care of his investors. So the guy preaching truth, moral authority, and freedom just got hit with a federal lawsuit from his business partner, who claims that he bankrolled everything and got cut out of his own company.
If you provide value, you get paid in proportion to the value you provide. And I think that that's the beauty that the internet has given us, is there's no more lying. The opportunity is clear for everybody.
Well, that allegedly didn't age well, and that podcast came out pretty recently as well. So here's where all of this blew up, because you have Luke Belmar, obviously now being sued by an ex-business partner and investor, Steve Tan, who says that he was the one who actually built, funded, and operated the entire business, Capital Club, behind the scenes. According to Steve, he's known Luke since 2018. Back then, he says that Luke hadn't even started e-commerce yet and was pitching himself as a social media guy who could grow Steve's personal...
Oh, he was one of those people? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of thought about doing it too. If I ever get a following, I would go contact, like, business people that are trying to get up, and, like, I kind of agree with their ideas and morals. I'll promote them for a small fee of 20%. I don't know if this is exactly what he's doing, but yeah.
Brand. Steve says that he was sold on the charisma and the whole "I'll make you the face of ecom" pitch, and the vision of building world's largest entrepreneur network.
It's kind of the perfect scenario for me, because I don't want to be the face. I want to be more behind the scenes, because we enjoy building. We enjoy scaling companies behind the scenes.
I watch way too many movies, dude. As soon as I heard I don't want to be the face, I want to be behind the scenes, and I have this view, dude, it just immediately made me think of, alright, this guy wants to make, he doesn't want to be the face of the company because he wants all of the illegal backbone stuff to be put on someone else, but it's the complete opposite.
Which is why when Luke said, okay, Steve, you guys be like the operators, the CEO behind the scenes, I was like, perfect. You want to be the face?
And according to court filings, this wasn't just like a bad partnership breakup. It's being called fraud, concealed transfers, breach of contract, and a scheme to siphon money into a secret parallel company. According to Steve, the beginning was simple. Him and Luke teamed up to build Capital Club together. Luke would be the face, the branding, the marketing, the content. So essentially, he would keep on posting.
So he would basically do nothing for the company besides, like, attract people to it. Well, I guess he's doing something for the company, but he's not doing, like, any of the grunt work. He's just doing social media and making an appearance saying W Company.
Instagram Reels, appearing on podcasts, and making dramatic TikToks like this.
If you want to achieve success, you're going to have to pay the price.
What the fuck is that song?
And it won't be cheap. It'll be tireless nights, long days, empty bank accounts, depressing thoughts, isolation, loneliness, tribulation, heartaches.
Hell yeah, brother.
I mean, honestly, here's the thing. The stuff a lot of these, like, internet gurus say, I swear, I found one it was a quote off Google. You just search up Google quotes. And then, a couple others are just, like, quotes that have been said thousands of times by other successful people. But a lot of these quotes that these successful people say these successful people are scammers.
And allegedly scamming your business partner. Steve's part of the deal was that he would handle everything behind the scenes. According to Steve, they agreed on a 50-50 partnership. Equal ownership, equal stake. But Steve
50-50
claims he wasn't just a partner, he was also the bank. He says the Capital Club ran into cash flow problems before they even really launched. Building the courses, filming the content, paying the team, cranking up Luke's...
Oh, Capital Club was a course. Of course it was. So there was probably nothing legit behind
content.
that. I just have a feeling. I don't think... Has there even been a single course out there that's, like, actually helped someone with whatever they're trying to get into?
Machine. And according to him, he
Because
kept
I
writing
haven't
more
heard
and
of
more
one.
money to keep things moving. $100,000 here, $150,000 here, framed as loans to the company that he expected to be repaid.
It was just kind of part in my nature to kind of like be really being a really supportive partner, and I just kind of dump in another 100K. Then when 100K runs out, I'll dump in another 150K, right? So, but of course, I extended this all as part of a loan to the company, right?
Okay.
Into the company, which I do expect to get paid later on, right? But when I had a call with like our financial third party,
If I was him, and if the guy doing the social media thing said, dude, this will be huge, this will make us millions, all right, I'll give you 100K, but you pay me back with interest for how long it takes, etc. And I give you more, double the interest. So, like, in total, say he gives the guy 300K. He's now owed 600 or something like that. Those numbers probably aren't correct, but yeah.
financial advisors, they were like, "Oh my God, like Steve, like, why do you do that?"
That's
I
what
said,
I
"Yeah,
would do.
because I pride myself as a good business partner,
Never
right?"
mind.
And when I just
Good
brought it up,
W
look, hey,
Vance.
like, we ran into cash flow problems, right? I put in this money. He just kind of brushed it off. Like, I just like it feels a little bit weird because any normal person would really appreciate your partner for doing that, right?
So in total, he put a little bit over $4 million of his own money, paid payroll,
Holy
funded
shit.
advertising, built the infrastructure, and set up all of the tech
What did
that
he
made
do before this? Oh. Oh man, excuse me. But what did bro do before this to
become the
afford all
actual
that?
function.
Holy
And I guess it
crap.
worked. Capital Club reportedly pulled in $4.2 million in revenue in
He
its
made his
first
money
3
back.
months, which just shows you how powerful information products can really be. Like, it makes sense why these guys are selling courses and selling, paid communities, because clearly it makes a ton of money. But at that point, it looked like a success story. Unfortunately, though, Steve says the cracks were already there. Not just in the partnership, but in the story Luke was telling the internet. Because he later claims that he realized the came from nothing story that Luke gave online did not match the timelines he personally knew from working with Luke.
Honestly, I was like very inspired by his story initially because that was exactly what I thought it was. Like, oh, $300 in a suitcase came over. And that was the exact same story. Even when I challenged him, after he got exposed, I was like, bro, like, is what you're saying online, is it true? He said, oh yeah, that's true. Like, oh, my uncle, blah, 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 right? And
Here's what my story would be. Grew up in the suburbs until I was like 16. Got kicked out of the suburbs. Now I'm in the hood. And I'm gonna make it out of the hood. And then I'm gonna just live in the middle class neighborhood, even if I'm making millions. I ain't trying to live in a big ass house or a pet house like this. Yeah, it's nice, but just give me a regular ass apartment. Like some shit like through here. Yeah, this is probably bougie or whatever. Just give me a regular apartment.
all that stuff, right? Even when I questioned him, he still
Like one
stand
of those
firm
songs.
on what he said. But I think what people really like was unhappy about was like how he faked his whole come up story. You didn't come from like a extremely poor family, right? And the other thing was like, I think people starts catching the lies that he kind of like said online, and a lot of kind of like people start piecing up together. For example, he said, oh, he didn't go to college, but people say, oh, like people start digging out and researched, oh, you went to college.
Apparently, Luke pushed hard to pull out around $600,000 from the company, even after their own financial advisor said, hey, this would be too much and would strain the cash flow. According to Steve, Luke insisted on taking $600,000 anyway. This was supposedly to buy a house, and then he told Steve that he'd have to wait.
I forgot. This kind of just like popped into my head. But first time I ever freaking saw this Luke Belmar dude on TikTok, he was trying to convince everybody that microdosing mushrooms every single day will make you a brighter and more intelligent person and will make you easier to make money. He was like dead set on that, trying to turn people into mushrooms. So I'm guessing he was a mushroom dealer and he was selling mushrooms to the people.
Until the next launch
That's how I
to
made a
take
lot of
anything
money.
out for himself.
I see.
So for someone who publicly talks about having $20 to $40 million, Steve says watching him fight over $600,000 set off some alarm bells, which, yeah, dude, that is a red flag. In 2024, Steve says that he planned to step away from the project. Luke allegedly offered a buyout to finalize his exit. All Steve had to do was hand over the back-end credentials, and he did. So Steve says that in good faith, before anything was ever signed, he started transferring access, payment processors, CRMs, checkout tools, key software, all the stuff you need to run the business. Then he claims the tone completely changed. He started seeing his own admin level being quietly downgraded. Then one day he says he tried to log into his email and found his account was suspended. Shared logins were switched and
So before he could get his payment that was deserved, that he worked for and everything, earned, bro just takes everything, logs him out.
his super admin status was
It's like
pulled.
Facebook.
And when he reversed one of these changes, he says that Luke
Okay, maybe
accused him of
not
trying
like
to lock
Facebook.
people.
I only seen clips of that movie, and I just know the co-owner was like put out, and then like kind of like how this situation is, and then the co-owner sued Mark Zuckerberg, and he got like $72 billion.
Wow, and even
today.
emailed lawyers about it. And that's on top of the term sheet Steve says that he got after the buyout number was agreed on. Because this is a non-compete with around 250 names on it, plus a blanket ban on working with any creator under 40 or doing courses, masterminds, or info products at all. That just sounds like he's trying to exile his ex-business partner away from the entire space. Steve said it felt less like a buyout and more like an attempt to end his career. And this is where the lawsuit begins. While Capital Club is still running, filings say that Luke and his wife Laura quietly launched a rival venture called Gem Hunters. And this isn't after Steve left, but during. And this is where the lawsuit gets also pretty serious. So according to Steve's filing, it claims while Capital Club was...
Is there anything illegal? I guess it just all matters about the contract you signed.
Still off.
Because like he can open up a company, but I wonder if there's like something in the contract where they said, yeah, go ahead and open your own companies whenever. Don't make it a rival though.
Operating the
Like,
exact
something like
same
that.
team was quietly running a second
nothing
company
like
in the
that, bro, I'm like-
background that's competing with Capital Club? What? Then to make things worse, according to the lawsuit, Gem Hunters reportedly pulled in around $10 million, and the complaint estimates
But that's common. Like you'll have big, huge companies, and they literally own their rival competitor.
that Luke personally may have
So when that company's losing money, they're technically still gaining money. Like they're not losing
walked away
anything because
with
they
more
own
than
each
$15
other.
million in profit. And remember, Steve says all of this happened while he was still a 50-50 partner. So, I mean, if that's true, this isn't just bad business. This could easily be a legally exploitive situation. Then
shit.
Steve dropped this voice call.
I'm Capital Club's personal brand. We scaled a personal brand. Like, I'm not understanding how you're not getting that. Are you jealous?
No, I'm not jealous. Why should I be
It
jealous?
sounds like it because I'm getting benefits that you're not getting, and you're seeing me win. And instead of being happy for me, you're jealous, and you're asking to eat off of a plate that you didn't do anything for, as if I'm not being fair.
All right, hold on. We need to go back to this. What was the context of this?
While he was still a 50-50 partner. So, I mean, if that's true, this isn't just bad business. This could easily be a legally exploitive situation. Then Steve dropped this voice call.
Okay, it's a no-no to basically open the rival company while you're a 50-50 partner. I think that's what we're getting at here. And then Luke saying, you're jealous.
Capital Club's
Alright.
personal brand. We scaled a personal brand. Like, I'm not understanding how you're not getting that. Are you jealous?
No, I'm not jealous. Why should I be
It
jealous?
sounds like it because I'm getting benefits that you're not getting, and you're seeing me win. And instead of being happy for me, you're jealous, and you're asking to eat off of a plate that you didn't do anything for, as if I'm
WG Shock. Rich guy with the G Shock. I think that's a G Shock.
as if I'm not being fair, as if I'm being like withholding.
Bro, go ask around and you'll find out what's right and what you think
I don't have to ask around what's right or what's wrong.
You'll ask around and you'll realize immediately how you're fucked.
I have moral values, and I understand how I operate. I don't need to go ask somebody else about my moral stance of how I operate, whether I do things right or not.
Oh, so you'll be in an echo chamber of thinking you're always right, but you're not.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I have moral guidance, and I don't need moral guidance from a third perspective to determine whether what I'm doing is right or wrong.
So
I'm gonna be honest here. If I'm uber successful, I'm making millions of dollars a year. Um, like I don't ever need to worry about money troubles again, and I have someone giving me advice. I'm listening. I don't give a shit how much money I made. I can still always learn more about life and how to live life. You don't need money to live, by the way.
what you're doing, I don't think it's moral.
But what it sounds like to,
You think it's
what it sounds to me like is jealousy. To me, it sounds like you're jealous.
Okay, so Luke calls himself the brand, the value, and the reason Capital Club works, and basically suggests that Steve should just be grateful, even though Steve claims that he paid for the entire business infrastructure. But Luke, talking like this, especially when his whole brand is, morality, religious purity, brotherhood, and loyalty, that makes him come across as incredibly two-faced. And I mean, to me, it sounds like they needed each other for Capital Club, as Luke is the lead generator and Steven's the guy who actually provides.
I mean, yeah, like, it sounded like that from day one, from the start of the video, because Steve didn't want to be the face of the company. He wanted to be behind the scenes, but he needed his company to go out on social media. Luke had the capabilities of doing that, so he
is the value for the customer. Marketing and product, they're kind of like a yin and yang because they don't work without each other. Because if your marketing is great, but there's no product, there's no revenue. And if your product is great and nobody has heard of it, you also end up with no revenue. So now, this is my opinion, but it sounds like Luke used Steven for upfront capital to jumpstart his career, then launched his own paid community after he made some money to run it. Maybe he also learned the ropes of how to build a paid community from Steven while they were working together. Who knows? I am just speculating on alleged information here. Either way, let's talk about Capital Club's actual service, because the website, it reads like a hype machine. We aim to be the largest decentralized network in the world focused on creating, multiplying, and preserving wealth and opportunity for all entrepreneurs. Okay, whatever that means. How much is Capital Club even? Okay, from what I can see, the Capital Club Limited offers $369 annually. Okay, and someone else here is saying, I paid $599 for Luke Belmar's Capital Club. Okay, so the original offer might be $369, and then
I'm sorry. I mean, I just don't see how you think that's legit at all. You look at a freaking course. Teach me how to do all this for $600 a year. Sounds like a good deal. Dude, might as well just go to college at that point and just get real fucking
they might have bumped it to like $599 later on. Then you have another video. So I spent $15,000 to join Capital Club and learn these secrets. Hold up. What? Okay, so pricing seems to be a little bit all over the place. It does, I mean, on the website at least, it says they have 200 hours of courses and exclusive series brought to you by various experts from around the world. Okay, so this is more.
I have a really strong feeling all these courses, they're just gonna say what you can read off Google. It's literally just gonna be, they're reading off Google probably. It's a script they got off of Google.
More than just a Telegram. It seems like a very overpriced Skillshare that has a focus on internet money. So, and I guess like the whole networking aspect of it, if that's important to you. Is it worth it? I don't know. I haven't tried it, but I'm always extremely skeptical about stuff like this. On top of this, you have Luke, who's been pushing something called Ecom Society. This platform pushes a waitlist, like an exclusive club that you may or may not be accepted into. This is also similar to how Capital Club was originally marketed. And this is not an exaggeration. Luke's been posting to his story pretty much daily links to the site saying they're accepting applications and not everyone will be accepted. Like the whole scheme seems to be like you're applying for a job rather than handing over your credit card. And, you know, when they finally accept you, then obviously you're like, oh, I'm accepted. I might as well spend money. At the end of the day, it's just marketing psychology, and clearly it works. And this site has the pretty typical language that you see from a lot of these crypto guys. The new era is here. Join the wait list. Only serious entrepreneurs will be accepted. It just comes across as like a massive funnel, selling access, mindset, and advice. Because remember, with Capital Club, Steve was the bankroll and Luke was the brand. So that's clearly what Luke knows how to do, branding.
You want to arbitrage attention, right? So you need to create a personal brand. The personal brand doesn't have to be you, but
can be your company. It can be something that people can connect to.
I guess that's why you see language like connect with 8 and 9 figure operators, exclusive playbooks, learn the secrets. So I guess the product is just networking and advice packaged as exclusivity, but who knows? It might be valuable for some, but again, I would be extremely careful with information products and communities like this. Regardless, Steve stayed silent for a year. He didn't make videos or rant online. In fact, if you go to his Instagram account, the last post was like 131 weeks ago. But recently, he tweeted his side of the story. When someone weaponizes your silence, that's when the silence ends. He claims that he built the systems, funded the business, hired the team, and was even one who got Luke onto all these podcasts and interviews that made him the brand's face. Most of the replies to the tweet were supporting Steve, backing up that he's a
So if it wasn't for Steve, Luke wouldn't be anywhere near where he is today.
legit guy and a business person, which doesn't look good for Luke. So at least it appears that Steve is a fairly respected individual.
Yeah.
And then I guess there's Luke, who allegedly took a whole bunch of the profits, locked Steve out, and rewrote the story. So now we have a lawsuit claiming fraud, deceptive practices, breach of contract, concealed transfers, and unjust enrichment. Steve is suing for millions of dollars, and if he wins, well, it makes videos like this even more ironic.
I've said it once and I'll say it again, that the life that you have is the life that you chose. That where you are today is based on the decisions that you made in the past. So if you want a different life, you have to make different decisions in the current present moment. So it's possible, but you're going to have to.
But he doesn't want to be average. He wants to be really rich. And the only way in his head to do that is to scam.
Sacrifice effort. You're going to have to sacrifice long nights. You're going to have to sacrifice bad relationships. You're going to have to sacrifice that 9-to-5 check in order for you to get to the next level. But it's possible.
Yikes, yeah.
All right, I agree with that last statement. You got to sacrifice your 9-to-5 check. That means put it all your check on black. I'm kidding. Never do
If those
that.
internal transfers are proven real, or if a judge rules the Capital Club assets were misused, or if Gem Hunters was really built with shared resources, this isn't just reputational damage, it's a career-ending damage, or potentially at least. I mean, if Luke's entire brand is purity, discipline, becoming your higher self, walking with God, and not being corrupt like the elites, a lawsuit like this really doesn't look good for that. Because, I mean, even if just part of this lawsuit's true, the irony really writes itself here. You essentially have a guy who's selling moral clarity accused of hiding millions in undisclosed ventures. A man preaching loyalty and brotherhood, allegedly locking out the partner who helped him build everything. Then on top of that, a business selling freedom funded by someone who allegedly didn't even get paid back. But since I recorded all this yesterday, Luke has made a vague response.
A few weeks ago, a former friend of mine tried to expose me with a fraudulent lawsuit. His name is Steve Tan. On X, I have challenged him to an in-person or virtual live stream, raw, authentic, uncut, discussing his allegations, his false claims, and his lies. He came
Why does this sound like AI? Like, just listen.
authentic, uncut, discussing his allegations, his false claims, and his lies. He came after me, my family, my wife, my relationship, and the man that hires scams people and decides.
Dude, that's every fucking person with money. They all get prostitutes. I'm sure you got prostitutes too. That's everybody with money nowadays, I swear. It's weird. But no, like, this sounds like straight AI.
Decides to steal my business,
It sounds like a robot.
Capital Club, will be exposed. I'm giving Steve Tan the opportunity to defend his claims, not through some bull post, not through some nonsense YouTube video, but man to man. I come from nothing. I have nothing to lose. I'm here to maintain the integrity of my relationship with my family, with my members, and with my friends. Steve Tan, I'm waiting for your response.
Okay, so he wants to have a public debate.
Hold on. I want to say that's AI because, like, look at the tree up here and just around. Look at the amount of cuts that are in this video, and it just glitches and jitters. But he talks perfectly fine.
Not through some nonsense YouTube video, but man to man. I come from nothing. I have nothing to lose.
It's just so weird.
With my friends. Steve
Did
Tan.
I just miss a? Am I being stupid? And did I miss something where he said he made an AI video?
I'm waiting for your response.
Him of fraud, deception practices, breach of contract, concealed transfers, and unjust enrichment. And Luke is now pointing the finger back at Steve and says that he pays for women. Hopefully he has a little bit more ammo than that if they do decide to debate, because this whole video seemed like he was kind of like, hey, you're dragging my reputation through the mud, so I'm going to return that favor. Another thing that's a little bit interesting is Steve, from everything I can tell, he seems to be a pretty shy and reserved guy. I don't think he would be the guy to openly try to debate him on a public platform,
seems like a pretty
especially
chill dude.
after he sued him. I think this, to me, seems like a strategy to try to win back the public interest or the public opinion, because he probably can assume that Steve does not want to debate him. So who knows? He could be betting that Steven doesn't want to show up to a debate, so it makes him look better in the public eye. But hey, even if they debate publicly, I can only see this getting more heated, which will then get moved into court later on anyway. So yeah, this will be interesting to see how it unfolds. Because as of right now, we have Steve's side. We don't really have Luke's side yet. And if they debate, maybe he'll release that video. Maybe he'll release a longer video countering all the points, and then suddenly we have his side of things. So if Luke drops his side of the story and suddenly we have both the sides of the story out in the open, I'll probably make a follow-up because, hey, that's added context that I want in the conversation. As of right now, the whole situation does not look great, but I do want to say it's really important that nobody is guilty until a court says so. So
Facts.
I'll keep you guys updated.
Though, even though I've been calling him a scammer this whole entire time, yes, I can call him a scammer. Even though I'm not adding the allegedly part, it's alleged. But nothing's proven. You're innocent until proven guilty, obviously. Always. And yeah, let's see where that goes on. Thank you for watching. God first, and God bless y'all.